Alright, I. What is I?
I?
I is equal to the square root of negative 1, remember?
Nope.
Okay? You need to know that. Okay, it's an imaginary number. Alright, so if I'm subtracting, that means everybody on the block gets the paper. So that's minus 5, and then this minus 6 becomes a plus 6i. Right? Then all I do is put them underneath the same thing. So minus 5 and plus 6i. Then add them up. What is 6 plus negative 5?
1.
1. What is 2 plus 6? 8. Done. Ugh. Are you kidding me? Come on, people. You should be like, yeah, free cake. Free cake. Get in line. Let's eat it. Right? Well, you're subtracting this, so what you're doing is changing their signs and then just adding it. Just easier. You could say 6 minus 5 and 2i minus 6i, but that gets confusing with the minus. So I like to just push the negative through and then add it up.
Okay.
Right? And if there's an addition sign here, then we just add the two. That's all you're doing, adding. So it's subtraction, right? So we just add a negative. Alright, this one's a multiplication sign though. That's different. So this is, everybody on the block is a paper, right? Or clamshell. So it's 8 times 4, which is 32. 8 times 6i, negative 6i. 8 times 6 is 48. So negative 48i. Just treat the I like you would an X. Right? Okay? And then you go, okay, well then what is positive 3? Because you take that sign with it. If that's a negative, you know what I'm saying? Everything would be different. So what's 3 times 4? 12i, right? And then what's 3 times 6?
18.
So since it's negative, it's a negative 18, right? And then I times I would be I squared, right? Think of this. I squared would equal the square root of negative 1 squared, right? So what is this when you square a square root? What happens? It goes away. When you square a square root, it gets rid of it. Right? So this I squared is this negative 1. So here, these are like terms. But these are like terms also. Because this is negative 18 times negative 1, which is positive 18. Right? I squared is negative 1. Negative times a negative is a? That's it. So then I'm going to add 32 and 18, and I'm going to take these differences. So I have 40, 50, and then minus, and it looks like you're taking 12 away from 8. So 2 away from 8 is 6, 1 away from 4 is 3, so it's 36i. Done, huh? That's it.
What the heck does that say on
Where?
Right under 32.
18.
Oh.
Adding that 18 up. Okay? Questions?
How do you get rid of the square? I missed it.
Okay? So, anytime you have a square root, okay, and you square it, say it's a 8, okay? Then you're saying 8 to the 1/2 squared. 2 times a half is 1, right? So it just goes away.
Why 1/2?
Because a square root is a power to the 1/2 power. We need to know that. Okay? If it's a cubed root, it's to the 1/3. If it's a 4th root, it's to the 1/4. 5th root, 1/5.
Alright.
Okay? So we have to know this. You have to have that in your tool bag. Okay? So the square of I is just -1. So once we have I squared, we plug in -1. -1 times a -18 gives you positive 18. Other questions? One, 2, 3, 4. Good?